From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Well, happy Monday morning to you. You know, we're going to be looking at a kind of a cool and unsettled start to your work week. So today in particular, and of course tomorrow as well. Now, rain and wind is what we'll be dealing with here as the cold front passes through. But the main event, the main storm system itself is pushing through this afternoon and evening, and not to mention tonight. And tomorrow, just behind that cold storm system, is we've got cold and unstable air, and that'll keep the chances of showers in there at least for Tuesday. But then we do expect things to kind of change after that. But as the system passes through, as we see the rain and snow levels will be around 3,500 to 4,000 feet, drying out, and we finally get that taste of spring I've been talking about later this week. So taking a look at your planner for today. Now the valley, here's what I'm anticipating. The north end of the valley, places like Redding, maybe Red Bluff, kind of that saturated type of situation where, you know, you're not going to see a ton of rain, but at times, because the air is so saturated, it'll be drizzly and light rain. But places south of Red Bluff, around Chico, Oroville, it may actually be dry through a good portion of the day. Siskiyou County, I think we'll be kind of seeing that mix of clouds for the first half of the day, and then the chances for rain and snow pick up later on in the afternoon. And that's the case also for the eastern mountains, although that can be closer to late afternoon, early evening before we start seeing any of that precipitation. Now for the north coast, this is where the rain comes in first, and it'll happen this morning and then taper off later on this afternoon and evening. Same situation inland and for Trinity County as well, although it may take a little bit longer for that rain and snow to hit Trinity County later this morning. So you can see the system that we saw yesterday and last night, that's moving out. We're between systems this morning. But this is what's going to be moving in here later on this morning and afternoon, of course hitting the coast first, then eventually making its way eastward. So we look at Futurecast and walk you through the timing of it all. Now as we go through the morning, you'll see it's really not picking up a lot of rain. But as I mentioned, I still think that we could see some of that drizzle and light rain through a good portion of the morning, especially for the north end of the valley, Red Bluff and Redding. But you see how we do have some of that clearing. So we'll call it partly to mostly cloudy skies for places like Chico and Butte County. Dry to the east, but there are the showers. So through the morning hours, the chances for showers pick up. Nothing heavy at this point. Then we take you through the afternoon. Here's 5 p.m. See how it pushes eastward. Now we're seeing heavy rainfall for the north end of the valley. Light showers for Red Bluff, Corning, and Chico. Now this is more like light to moderate rainfall, by the way. And then, of course, we're just beginning to see some of that hitting Modoc County, eastern mountains. And, of course, through the morning, through the afternoon, we've got that rain along the coast, and moderate to heavy at times, 3,500 to 4,000 feet with those snow levels. All right, now we're going to take you into tonight around 10 p.m. You see what's happening? You see this line right here? We're getting behind that storm system now, and things are tapering off for Trinity County and western Siskiyou and Del Norte and Humboldt counties. But still some showers in the valley and still some snow flurries off in the eastern mountains, and not to mention Modoc County as well. Then we take you into Tuesday. Now you see what's happening here? We're not seeing anything all that organized at this point, but still some scattered showers for Tuesday morning, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, especially for the north end of Humboldt County and parts of Del Norte County as well. By the afternoon, we're still seeing some scattered showers out there, but you see what's happening? It's really beginning to taper off, and things really begin to dry out by the time we go into tomorrow night and into Wednesday. So Wednesday is kind of that transition day. It's drying out and beginning to warm up as well. All right, so let's get you out the door this morning. Temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s in Trinity County. There are the showers today, tomorrow, drying out by Wednesday. Your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures low, even some mid-50s for some of those warmer spots, with a high of about 52 degrees for Gasquet, 52 in Smith River, as well as Hoopa. Willow Creek, though, a high of about 54 degrees. And your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, pretty typical. Western Siskiyou County warmer, cooler in the upper 30s and low 40s for central and eastern Siskiyou County. We take you off into the Modoc County neighborhood forecast, where temperatures there mainly in the low to maybe some mid 40s out there, We take into the eastern mountains, 45 for Bernie, a little bit warmer in Paradise at about 52, 51 for Doyle and Susanville, a high of about 48 degrees. And your valley neighborhood forecast to the south, well, of course, those temperatures upper 50s and low 60s. So again, where we could see some more sunshine for the first half of the day, warmer temperatures. But where we're going to be looking at kind of overcast skies, drizzly through the morning, and then some heavier rainfall coming in the afternoon, cooler in Redding at 56 as well as Anderson, and 58 for Red Bluff. So as we look at your 7-day outlook for Redding, temperatures slowly increasing. Back to the 60s by Wednesday, 70s by Thursday, mid to upper 70s by the weekend. So your St. Patrick's Day weekend looking absolutely gorgeous and feeling a lot more like spring. Well, that's your forecast to get you out for the day. Hope you have yourselves a great Monday. Let's take a look at your deeper dive forecast now and see what's going on out there. Again, we'll start off with the satellite image here. You've got this low pressure system here. You've got the moisture source that's kind of getting associated with that, kind of coming in from the subtropics. We're between systems this morning, but as I mentioned, we still have a very saturated atmosphere, so a lot of us, even though the radar may not be picking up on that rain, we'll be dealing with some of that drizzle and light rain through a good portion of the morning. So this is the system that's going to be moving through later on this afternoon and evening, and then it's off to our east by tomorrow. But we still have enough of that cool and unstable air in place on Tuesday, keeping that chance for showers in there. But once that's out of here, we're seeing that high pressure building in toward the end of this week. Just like I was forecasting last week, I'm still expecting mainly mid to upper 70s. Some of us could be flirting with that 80-degree mark, and that's not out of the question. But for now, it looks like mainly mid to upper 70s for those warmest temperatures here. Now, we're also looking at a pretty good setup with some winds, which we'll talk about that here a little bit later. But there we have that warmer air still in place through the weekend. It moderates a bit, maybe not quite as warm, and then it pushes to the south. I'm seeing some indication that by the middle of next week, all right, so not this Wednesday, but a week from Wednesday, maybe some colder air coming down from the south. That will cool our temperatures down a bit, but it may be moisture starved. So I'm not anticipating a lot of rainfall with that system. Again, that's a long ways out. That may not even materialize. But we do have those above normal temperatures in the forecast in the long range. Now we'll take a look at, of course, that rain. Of course, there it is coming through this afternoon and evening. By tomorrow, it's mainly off to our east, but we still have the cool and unstable air, keeping the chance for showers on Tuesday. This high pressure, as it builds in, it'll build northward. Now what's going to happen is, when you have high pressure toward northwest and low pressure down to the south and east, we kind of got that classic setup where you get those gusty winds on the east side between that high and low pressure system. So the winds may pick up around Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe even linger on into Friday before that high pressure and low pressure system, it kind of relaxes, what we call a pressure gradient. So there you can see, still pretty warm even going into early next week, but there's that moisture-starved system. See how that colder air is pooling down, but we're just not seeing much in the way of rain because it's coming directly from the north, and typically those colder systems that don't come from the water don't have a lot of moisture to work with. So that's why I don't anticipate to see a lot of rainfall with that. But again, that could change. A lot can happen between now and then. But below normal precipitation is in the long range according to the Climate Prediction Center. So just don't anticipate seeing a lot of rain after what we see here today and tomorrow. And speaking of that, let's take a look at how much rain we do anticipate. So yes, we're getting a dry trend, but we still got today and tomorrow to contend with, where we could see about a quarter to even upwards of 3/4 of an inch of rain for the valley. I'm expecting about a half an inch to about an inch for many parts along the coast. All right, so looking at your wave heights, they're going to actually be a little high, even along the coast, around 6 to 11 feet. They do start to kind of taper off a little bit, but actually still staying fairly high, even through your day on Tuesday. So here's your marine forecast for today. South winds at 15 to 25 knots. They will be rising through the day, with your waves from the west at 15 feet at about 15 seconds. There's a small craft advisory here for today. All right, here's your forecast for today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s to around 60. So again, cooler to the north, where we're going to see the drizzle and light rain through a good portion of the morning hours, but maybe some sunshine to start off the day, not to mention even to the early afternoon hours. But eventually that rain kind of kicks in. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook region by region. Just kind of give you an idea. Showers today for the valley, eventually, right? Mainly in the afternoon. But we could see drizzle and light showers for a good part of the morning here for the Reading area, maybe even Red Bluff as well. Scattered showers Tuesday. It dries out and begins to warm up as we go into the middle and latter part of this week. We've got snow levels around 4,000 feet today and tomorrow. They could get a little lower than that in some cases here today, around 3,500 feet. But anything significant as far as snow is concerned, you're going to have to go above 4,000 feet. And taking a look at Mount Shasta, and not to mention Alturas and Susanville, there, of course, is the snow levels around 4,000 feet, drying out by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday through the weekend, and warming up as well.